I walked out of a seller's appointment. Yes, last week I walked out of a seller's appointment. Why on earth would I walk out of a motivated seller's appointment? Well, I would have to say I've been doing this for close to 9 years. It was the first time I ever walked out of a seller's appointment. My acquisition guy, Eddie, here locally in New Hampshire, Massachusetts, was on vacation. He was golfing in Ireland or Scotland, one of those countries, and having a great time, well-deserved. So I was covering for him, and I went on an appointment with this lady who is a motivated seller in Lowell, Massachusetts. And what happened was I got a little bit of a bait and switch. So when the lead came in, I was qualifying the lead through our incoming call script. There was motivation there. There was equity there. I asked her about other investors. I talked about how I'd like to meet with her and the other decision makers and all that stuff. Everything looked really promising. I had a feeling she might be a little money motivated, but everything else made it seem like this is a good lead to go on. They need to sell the house. They need the cash. The father died. The mom died, and the father was getting really old, couldn't live there anymore. And the sisters who were taking care of everything needed to sell the house. So I went on the appointment, and then 15, 20 minutes into the appointment, I walked out. So why do I walk out? Well, here's what's really important to know. Okay, so when we teach students in our coaching program or how we run meetings, sellers appointments in our business, there's a certain flips. There it goes, a little lag. One of the things that we do is we disarm the sellers as soon as we go in there, right? We want to overcome the first two objections. Nobody likes to be sold. Nobody likes a salesperson. One of the ways we disarm a seller during that conversation, we say, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Seller, whoever it may be, sometimes both, right? You know, if we feel that we're not the right fit for you, we may just say, hey, kindly, we may want to politely excuse ourselves, and will that be okay? And a lot of times the sellers say, yeah, I've never done that before until this time. This lady bait and switched me, and I don't want you guys ever overqualifying your leads, because that can be to your detriment as well. I think sometimes, not to get on a tangent, but we learn what motivation is as we get experience in this business, and then we're quick to overqualify leads instead of going on appointments. I always feel that you should go on appointments, because you'd be surprised how many of those leads that you didn't think were great turn into good deals. But anyway, so this person made it seem like they're talking to one or two investors, and then my wife and I would go out and meet with the person, and the appointment's just not going as planned. And it's very quickly, I'm starting to get the feeling like this person's really motivated by money. And then I didn't hear her, but she said to my wife, you guys are the sixth investor to walk through today. The sixth investor. And as I'm processing that, as my wife told me when we were down in the basement away from the seller for a second, not there to buy, there to see if they qualify. Yeah, there you go, Matt. So we went on the appointment, and then, we're downstairs, and the lady says to Shelly, Shelly's like, did you hear we're the sixth investor to come here today? I'm like, whoa, okay. So I'm processing this, and then there's certain little triggers that I said, about asking certain questions about things, and I don't want to get into too many details, but from my experience, I knew this person was money motivated. And I just realized that this lady was just shopping for highest and best, and we weren't going to be the right fit. In my experience, guys, if you are working with a motivated seller that is looking for highest and best and has many investors coming out to create a bidding war, especially if you're trying to wholesale a deal. Now, I was going to cash buy it, but even then I still turned away. But especially as a wholesale, you're never going to get a good deal. If they're looking for a highest and best and getting people to a bidding war, let the people who are super, what's the word I'm looking for? Sorry, because I'm on live now, I'm drawing a blank. The people desperate, the people who are super desperate, who can't get deals or get leads, that are willing to overpay and put themselves in a position to maybe break even or even lose money. We don't do that. Don't do that. So I just said to her, I said, Mrs. Seller, listen, if it's okay with you, I don't think my wife and I were the right fit for you, and I'd like to politely excuse ourselves from this meeting. And she looked at us puzzled. And she said, okay. I said, yeah, I just, I think you're trying to get a lot more money for this house than we can offer. And then I kind of just threw in, we'd like to be somewhere in this range. And I have a feeling you may be trying to get more than that. She's like, we are. Then she said, so I anchored a little low. And then, yeah, don't chase. Exactly, Tom. And then she came in a little high, and I knew that price point. She said, my bare minimum was this. And I already knew that minimum was not even a number we could get to. So I said, well, if you can get that number, you should take it and run. She said, we already got over that today. I'm like, all right, then I'm definitely wasting my time. And I just left there. So as Tom and Brian said here, we don't want to chase deals, right? We're deal finders, not deal makers. Let the people who are super desperate overspend for deals. That's not us. If it's motivation, money is the leading motivating factor, chances are it's not going to be a good deal for you. And it's okay to walk away. It's okay, I'm telling you, to fire yourself and walk away. I think it was great I went on an appointment. And I think you should go on the appointment, but at any point during that appointment, you don't feel like this is the right fit, just walk away. You at least you tried and it didn't work out, right? So how do you know, right? Well, guess what? Here's a segue for you. We can teach you how to structure your seller's appointment. So early on in that appointment, you can set the precedent to leave when you want to leave, but also disarm the seller. There is a certain way to run a seller's appointment. And if you treat it like a system, your seller's appointment, right? You're not just going in there and winging it. You're basically keeping it the same way almost every time, which allows you to have more success and convert more deals. Well, we are doing a boot camp on that on Thursday, September 25th from 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern. This is part 3 of our 3-day boot camp that week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we're doing a 3-day boot camp. And on Thursday, we are going to talk to you. I'm going to teach you for free how to structure your seller's appointment. I'm going to give you the blueprint that we teach in our coaching program and we do personally in my business, which I've done almost 500 deals running this type of format, this type of system, this type of structure in your seller's appointment. So if you guys want to learn more how to join our free boot camp on September 23rd, 24th, 25th, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern, again, free, just log in, let us know in the comments that you're interested. And I see Kyle is here. We'll get you those links and get you signed up for free. And I'm going to be giving you guys a lot of great information. Day 1, building your cash buyers list. Day 2, hosting your open house to create a bidding war. And day 3, how to structure your seller's appointment. I will see you guys later. Take care.